Qué rollo, quiero mandar un saludo a mi amigo Goodfella de parte de tu amigo Jeramll. Un abrazo, canal. Ánimo.
All right, man. Let's talk about Canelo. His next fight is supposed to be going to the DAZN pay-per-view. People saying that Bivol isn't a better fight than Charlo. Let's talk about those things. If you missed the live last night, I also did a video on Canelo. In this situation last night. Hopefully, you guys caught it. You listened to it on Spotify, Goodfella TV podcast, Anchor Goodfella TV podcast. Or you could just watch you could just watch the replay on YouTube. You know, if that's what you choose to do. It's free to listen to it on Spotify and all that stuff. So apparently, we could just talk about people saying Charlo and Bivol better. You know, people going through Bivol resume. You know, you gotta know too, bro, that when I talk about pound for pound, popularity is a good chunk of being pound for pound. And people probably sitting there saying, well, why are you saying that? Well, I'm saying that if you wonder what I'm drinking, this is a Spire from Sam's Club. It's no calories, no sugar, no carbs. It's pretty good too. It's all energy. Well, I'm saying that for I ain't paid the advertise, but it's pretty good. I'm paid to advertise. Well, I'm not paid to advertise, but what I'm talking about, people look at names, and it's always been like in boxing for a while. Names have been a huge part of boxing. Yes, names. So people look at names. You know, when you start naming off Bivol resume, the average person don't care about John Pascal, who probably was out, which he was out his prime. You know, people don't care about Craig Richards and care about what he did to Joe Smith Jr. years ago. You know, people gonna identify more with a J Rock or Trout because those are names that were pretty much built up by PBC and this, that, and the third. So people not gonna like really look at names. They're enamored with or people just don't look at the body work. They're enamored with the names. So I mean, that's just what it is. When you look at fighter for fighter, I would say Bivol is a much better fighter. But just because you're a much better fighter, does that mean you're a much better fight? As far as as far as fan friendly. You know, as you go measure, you have a better chance to win. All these are boxes that you have to check off. And I can kind of make these into sub boxes to punch, jabs, straights, hooks, power, chin. But honestly, who's going to move the needle more? You know, and for Canelo, every time he fights somebody, it's a big fight. So the needle going to be moved just because of Canelo. And people and fans going to watch. Because ain't nobody else crazy enough to go against Canelo. Ain't nobody gonna put another fight on Cinco de Mayo against Canelo. That's just early in the day. So you gotta remember that. So, you know, he can do what he please. But when you're looking at this from a standpoint, most Americans don't care to see. I'm talking about Americans. Most of the Latino Mexican fans, they don't care about who he in the ring with. They don't. His fan base don't demand anything. You never hear them say, "Well, he needs to go ahead and fight Dmitry Bivol, or he needs to go ahead and fight Arthur Beterbiev." They just go with the flow type fan base, and that's what fan bases are in sports now. LeBron, Earl Spence, you know, so on and so on. They go with the flow fan base. He has 20 fights. He been fighting since 2014 as a professional. He also has I thought he has some World Series of boxing fights. I guess not. And he's a dude that's been on a record apparently saying that he don't really care about boxing. It's a hobby or whatever. But most of the names you see in his resume, you want to know: Omar Salam, contender, 75, Craig Richards, Lennon Castillo. He fought that. I remember that's when Eddie Hearn first came over here, was fighting in Chicago. Joe Smith Jr., that's a name. John Pascal, a name. He already had 5 losses to that point. So people gonna look at Isaac Chilamba, Barrera, good win. He stopped him. Trenton Broden horse. Cedric Agnew, names Felix Valero. He took his old name. So, okay, he got some names. You look at who the best name on his resume, and people say, "What's these resumes better than Charlo's?" Well, the best name on his resume is what? Joe Smith Jr. or Sullivan Barrera or undefeated Felix Valera, which he didn't turn out to be what he supposed to be. So I can't say that you didn't really work out for him. So it's Joe Smith Jr. or Sullivan Barrera as far as a name, and he hasn't stopped many of his opponents of late, and neither has Charlo. So Joe Smith Jr. and Sullivan Barrera. Talk about Jeramll Charlo. Can you make a case that Derevchenko better than both of them? Yes, you can. Derevchenko lost every fight that he had. They lost have been competitive, other than Charlo. You look at Brandon Adams, Mike Korobov, Julian J. Rock, Austin Trout at the time. K9 took the belt from Matt Korobov, underrated. So I mean, hey, it is what it is. You see Charlo on TV every day. That's the difference. You see him on TV, you're able to relate to his fights and all of that. But like I said, who chance a better chance of beating Canelo is Charlo. That's just my opinion. Because we know Dmitry Bivol is going to be compromised. And that's just why I'm just leaving it at that. We know Dmitry Bivol going to be compromised. We know he don't care about boxing. We know one thing about Charlo, he would have been moving up in weight. So would Canelo put a rehydration clause on him? I don't know. Or the Canelo just came in heavy. I don't know. But we know he will be compromised come fight night. We don't know how much he will be compromised come fight night. But he just regressed, and I don't know if it's the level of opposition. People talking about, well, Charlo ducked Demetrius Andrade. Well, this dude ducked Arthur Beterbiev. So I mean, come on, call a spade a spade. People don't even know Bivol's still active. But it's a reason why Canelo picked him. It's a 2-fight deal. You get to beat up on an old, beat up Triple G. And Bivol got 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door. Fine. I was going to watch Charlo just because it was, it's a win-win. Charlo lose, I'm going to play video game. I'm not with the little brother talking about him. I don't really care. You're going to have these other boxing fans who Bivol's a great fighter, this, that, and he going to get in there. He gonna lay down. Charlo probably get in there and lay down too, so it don't matter. We comparing, bananas to bananas, red to red, blue to blue. You know what I'm saying? We comparing the same thing. So it don't matter. He gonna get in there and get whooped, or can he make it competitive and people crying call it a robbery? We gonna see, but he behind the 8 ball. And they're not gonna talk about him being behind the 8 ball. Canelo fans ain't gonna act like he gonna be behind the 8 ball. So that's just the game, bro. Like he able to, and then you know what? Man, I'm not mad at Canelo fans because there's fanatics. That's what it's turning to. No objectivity. But what makes me mad about the whole, what made me mad about the whole situation? Is that the black fighters and it's black fans out here who it's black fans out here that and black fighters like Gervonta Davis and Keith Thurman who ride Canelo's jockstrap, who would put Terrence Crawford dick in the dirt, put another fighter like Devin Haney dick in the dirt, but turn around and praise Canelo. And then if something happened to them, they want to have our support. I told you, we the only community that don't galvanize. And when we do, it's always some ignorant BS. Straight up and down. They say the black fighters praise Canelo just as much as the Mexican. The Mexican box community, as far as the former boxer, they harder on Canelo than the brothers is. When Crawford say something about Canelo, he get vilified. All Errol Spence do is kiss his butt, Tank kiss his butt. They kiss his ass before they kiss another brother ass. So, I mean, why should Charlo get the fight? People should get the fight. It's crazy to me. You're gonna make 85 million plus an extra 15 in Mexican TV money. You're gonna make $100 million. 50 for one fight, 100 for two. Here's what it is. It's business. But I do think with everything involved in the weight, I think Charlo probably be a better fight if fanfare. Well, I think in the ring because he couldn't rehydrate Charlo. Couldn't do the same. Well, I mean, he could. But Charlo, I don't know, man. Like I said before, Dmitry Bivol was compromised. We all know that, right? So Keith Idec, shout out to Keith Idec. He says that for anyone in need of clarification, Canelo Bivol and Canelo Golovkin 3 will be pay-per-view fights. You're not getting it with your subscription price. So yes, the company promoter that touted the death of pay-per-view will do back-to-back pay-per-views to get a return on the investment. It's the only way. So I don't know. I heard somebody say on the live yesterday at the DAZN they experimented with pay-per-view with Billy Joe and whatever Cal Smith, whatever was with distributing them through cable companies, I guess over the UK. I don't know. So the question is the pay-per-view exclusively through the DAZN app? Or the questions are, is it through the DAZN app? Can you buy it through a cable provider? And if it's through, and if I do buy the pay-per-view and I do have an annual or monthly subscription, do I get a deduction? Well, if it is through the app and I buy it, and I'm a new customer, do I have to buy the DAZN subscription to get the pay-per-view? Do I have to buy a prorated price to get the pay-per-view? Or do I can buy the pay-per-view flat out and watch it through the DAZN? ESPN Plus makes you buy ESPN Plus and then pay the pay-per-view. So it's like I said, it's getting disgusting with pay-per-views. Like I told you, the 16th, 23rd, April 16th, 23rd, and May 7th are 3 pay-per-view days. Assuming Dillian White signs the contract for April 3rd and the 23rd. So it's 3 pay-per-view dates in the month of April. We already have one in January, February. Then they talking about 2 in April, 1 in May. That's 5. They said Tank coming back in June. That's a rumor. That's probably gonna be 6. Come on, they throwing pay-per-views and they not even flipping profits, bro. I'm talking about PBC. And also, I heard it could be, somebody said that it could be pay-per-view for Valdez and Stevenson. I doubt it now. That'd be 4 pay-per-views in a row. Valdez fight on the 30th. 4. Supreme Stream Team. So the question is how they gonna do it. Now, if they do it on the app, that means they assume all the risks, but they reap all the rewards, or they take all the fall. Because like we explained, pay-per-view is cut up. The 10% goes to the network hosting. If it's Fox, Showtime, whatever. 45% goes to the cable companies, Comcast, Cox, Spectrum, Dish Network, DirecTV, who distribute. And the box promoter takes the other 45. So if there's DAZN kept it on the app, they would assume all the promotional risks, promoting it, because that's the cable network, so they promote it. They figure out, do the fight camp or the 24/7 or all access. That's their part in it. So the DAZN could do it on the app, and they can assume all the risks and benefit the rewards. But what you have to run ass through the ESPN, do the NBA playoffs, because ain't no American football on. It makes 7th. I mean, playoff run, you'll be right in the thick of a playoff run, I believe, right? Or with the playoffs, yeah, right in the middle. Playoffs probably start mid-April, so you'll be right in the playoff run. So it'll be a playoff run. I think the draft would just be over, right? April. So yeah, you have to promote the NFL draft and stuff of that nature. But like I said before, they not marketing towards the people that look like me or people that are white. They marketing towards Latinos. That's it. That's who they market towards. They're gonna let Mexican TV companies do the job. But it'd be interesting to see how they hash it out. Honestly, how does pay-per-view go? Is it on? You just pay additional fee to watch it on the app? If I have a annual or monthly subscription, do I get a deduction on a pay-per-view? Do they just distribute it through the cable companies? So, like I said before, I mean, it's gonna be interesting, man. But hey, let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. That subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request, all my social media link subscription. Twitter's the fastest way, and Facebook and Instagram. Want to make a financial donation? I already said that. That's for the donate to the channel. Thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out my Spotify. I dropped the latest podcast, Goodfella TV podcast on Spotify. Goodfella TV podcast on Anchor. The more you support and listen, man, the more podcasts I can get accepted to. So got some good things coming that way as well too. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, link subscription. Want to reach out? Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time, Goodfella TV, and check out the boxing rumor playlist. Peace.